Good afternoon, Packers fans. Aaron Nagler here with your Packers Daily Chat, coming to you live on the Cheesehead TV social channels. It's Friday, people. We're heading into the weekend. The Packers got a bunch of dudes who are questionable to play in the game on Sunday down in Atlanta. David Bakhtiari, Quay Walker, Aaron Jones, and Christian Watson all listed as questionable. I think some are more questionable than others. We'll go through them one by one here. I'm sure you guys will have some questions. I already see a few lined up. But the Falcons can't be taken lightly. Obviously, they had a really excellent game plan against the Panthers, especially on defense. I think this is a game where if Christian Watson and Aaron Jones are unable to play, it could get tough for the Green Bay Packers. That's not to say that they won't have a plan and that they can't execute at a high level and come out with a victory. I suspect they will. But this is a defense in Atlanta that is going to really test Jordan Love pre and post snap, both trying to set protections and then trying to see what the rotation is, making sure that what he thinks he sees is what he's seeing. There's no doubt that they are going to throw lots of different looks at him, lots of different kind of coverages, different kind of pressure calls. Clearly, you guys know me. The one big thing I would say going into this game is run the ball, but that's easier said than done. We all know that the other team has a say in that as well. And Atlanta, I think they're going to be ready for the Packers' run game, and they're going to maybe somewhat dare Jordan Love to beat them. I think that Jordan can do it, but I do not doubt for a moment that it is going to be a much tougher test than what they went up against in Chicago. Jordan even referenced it after the game. There was no look there that really they weren't prepared for. Most of what Chicago ran was what the Packers expected them to. I think Atlanta is going to be a very different beast with a whole lot more kind of guesswork when it comes to reading the coverages, reading the pressures, getting things set, making sure that everyone's communicating and seeing the same thing. Going to be a big test. Big test. I still think the Packers come out of there with a close victory, but it will not be easy. I'll let everybody in the comments section. So good to see you. Ryan, starting us off. Thanks for being a Care of the G Club member. Really appreciate it. The point I was trying to make yesterday was that there's an aging QB trying to hang on too long. In my opinion, it's not the turf. You could be right. We'll see. It was very interesting hearing comments from Aaron Rodgers today regarding his comeback and timeline and ability to possibly, maybe leaving the door open that maybe he could return this season, possibly a playoff run or whatever. That's insane to me, but hey, man, like I said yesterday, I would never bet against Aaron Rodgers. Abdul, thanks for the super chat, man. Hey, Aaron, is Bakhtiari being questionable because he didn't practice for rest day, or do you think it's a legit injury? I don't remember him being called questionable for week 1 when he got practice off. I think, as Matt said at his presser, David's probably going to be questionable most of the year. I think there's zero doubt that he, by playing a full game for the first time this season, probably knocked his knee around pretty good. It probably doesn't feel great. And I got to think, we're probably going to see him designated as such each and every week. I still think there's a pretty decent chance he plays, but we'll see. I do not doubt for the moment, though, that he's dealing with soreness, swelling, what have you, probably for the rest of his career. And maybe for the rest of his life post-playing. I don't know, man. We all know that injury was brutal. The return from it was brutal. And the fact that he's out there playing at all is a testament to his work ethic and how awesome he is and how much he wants to be out there with his teammates, But yeah, I think, yes, he's dealing with the same injury years later, which has got to be insanely frustrating for him. But yeah, I don't doubt for a moment that he is in pain and that he's having to deal with it and manage it. Ed, thanks for the super chat, man. Rule of thumb is to wait until week 8 before getting too up or down on any team. Hard to be patient with a team as great as the Packers. I hear you, man. That is the thing, though, right? It was funny. I saw an interview with Brian Balaga where he was like, you revel in it on Monday and Tuesday. You're really jazzed for that big win down in Chicago. But then by Wednesday, you're like, yeah, the Bears kind of suck. And then you're like, oh, are the Packers really good? Or do they just play a really bad team? So now we're like improvement mode again, which I love. I hope Jordan and company go down there and just, light it up. And everyone's like, holy shit, they're for real. That would be fun. Mimsy, thanks for the super chat, man. Happy Victory Friday. At worst, week 2 is push. Skull. Oh, that's right. Did the Vikings lose last night? Shame. Ryan, thanks again, bud. I also think this team can make the playoffs this season. I do too. Very much so. No question about it. Absolutely have the capability of doing so. Justin, thanks for the super chat. Are we nervous about Art Smith's mustache? I mean, that just comes with the territory when you're dealing with mustaches, right? Yes, 100% nervous. G. David, what's up? Thanks for super chat. Many opining A.J. Dillon hasn't been good enough. I'm torn. Seems effective at times, but lacks pop and agility at other times. What do you make of it? I mean, I've been talking all week. I think he did not get many favors done by the dudes up front against the Bears. I think he was, able to get what was blocked and sometimes what wasn't blocked. And unfortunately, there just wasn't a whole lot as far as holes and movement. And, he's not a guy who's insanely, going to give you a big jump cut and get out of something and make a big gain out of it. He's going to get what's blocked more often than not. Not every single time, but more often than not. And he's going to give you some power at times. But, yeah, I do think people need to slow down a little bit on their condemnation of A.J. Dillon, which I did see coming out of that game, both by, media members, but fans, just literal Packers fans, just piling on the dude. I'm like, can we give him a game or two more before we start talking about how they need to replace him or whatever? I mean, good Lord. Joe, thanks for super chat. Packers last week had some running plays that looked like they had no chance. Did they miss Rodgers' ability to audible out of a bad fit or alignment? I don't think it's that. I think they just didn't do the work up front. I mean, it's possible that there were one or two occasions maybe Jordan could have got them out of something. And Matt was asked on Monday if Jordan did audible out of anything. He said no. So it's possible, but I think they just need better. They just need to be better up front. They need to execute. I think the calls were okay, and I think the fronts were all right. But, if you don't execute, yeah, you're going to run into a wall. Mimsy, thanks again. Does Bakhtiari sit out turf games as a rest plan? I think we're going to start to see that on Sunday. We'll find out. I mean, they have the same playing surface that MetLife does. Obviously, it's not raining there, but that's the surface. And we all know how he felt about that when he watched Rodgers go down on Monday night. So this is the test, I guess. If he doesn't play, I think there's a good chance that might be the case. Vex, thanks for the super chat, man. I love watching NFL, but it is beyond time for every playing surface to not be turf. Too bad the cheap NFL owners don't care about players at all. Yeah, well, I mean, film at 11. Breaking news. Yeah, of course, they don't care. They just want to make money. And I get it. It's show friends, it's show business. But it just is ludicrous to me that, back in the day when they started going to artificial turf, was for two reasons: to make guys like the surface itself was faster, but also because you could save money on upkeep and all that. But now they're making so much money, hand over fist. The lucrative media deals are absurd when you think about the fact that they don't all have grass fields. Like Premier League, all grass fields. All FIFA is required all grass fields. Fields. Like why the NFL doesn't? I mean, we know why, but. Yeah, it's annoying. It is annoying. Menace, thanks for the super chat. Packer not in the Packer Hall of Fame. Who should be? That's a good question. I'll open it up to the floor here. Let everybody put it in the chat. There are probably a few that everybody can think of. Brady, thanks for the super sticker. Appreciate it, buddy. Joseph, thanks for the super chat. Happy weekend, Nags. Let's go up 2 on the Vikings this weekend. Go Pack Go from San Jose, California. What's up, Joseph? Hello from New York. Hope you're doing well. I'm going to think about this. Packer not in the Packers Hall of Fame. Well, it's got to be Travis Jervey, right? I kid. Maybe Sam Congato, just for how much fun it was to watch him that one season that was completely lost otherwise. I mean, that was Linsanity before there was Linsanity. That was a fun time when he burst onto the scene. I don't think they'd ever do it, but that would be a lot of fun. Hey, Nags. Why do corners play so off the ball, afraid of getting beat or what? Ray, a lot of times it's just the call. Sometimes it is at their discretion, but more often than not, the idea being they're going to complete it, make sure you rally and tackle and limit the yak. A lot of times that's the call when they're playing the zone that is prevalent to Joe Barry's scheme. So it's not always that, but more often than not. Bulaga. Iowa. Hey, Nags. I got that one. What else we got? Jonathan, what's up, Jonathan? How are you? Mike Wall, that's a good one, Joe. Mike Wall, he should be in definitely. Did I see Greg Cosell's comments on Love? I did not. I'll have to find it. Walter Stanley. Uh, Nags looking like the Lions are the team to concentrate on the North early on. Thoughts? I mean, it's so early. Who knows? Man, what teams look like now is not what teams are going to look like even in a month from now, let alone late November, early December, right? It's probable that they are the team to beat, but hey, they could lose this weekend. Packers could win, and the Packers are in first, and now they're being chased, right? Just beat Atlanta. That's all that matters. Bradley, thanks for the super chat. Love to be 1-0, but give me an area the Packers have to get better. Bring me back to earth, Nags, and thanks for all you do. Go Pack. Thanks, Brady. Um, yeah, I would say definitely need more consistency up front in the run game. I mean, we just talked about it with AJ, but overall, even though the plays that Aaron Jones was running, I think they just need to be a little bit more consistent. And I'm not surprised out of the gate that that was the case on Sunday because, look, it's the one area, right, where you don't really get a ton of work together as the starting line because you're doing some run stuff in practice, but a lot more passing, and you're not going full speed. You're not doing 100%. You do a little bit in the preseason, obviously, but the intensity is not the same, and you barely play. Those starters played what? Maybe 3 drives a game in those preseason games, and then they're on the sideline with their, ball caps and laughing it up. It's just not, you're not doing a ton of it in a live situation. So I'm not surprised that out of the gate it was a little up and down, but the consistency there has to improve without question. And I think it will. But that's, you talk about one thing, for me, that's one thing. Tim, thanks to Super Chat. 71's poor play really stood out last week. Yeah, the bad plays are bad, and that's the same stuff we saw last year. We talked about it all summer. The consistency is what kills, the lack of consistency is what kills you with Myers because there's plenty of good tape. There's plenty of plays where he plays at a high level and does his job and he's fine. But man, to your point, the bad plays are bad and they are noticeable. And it's hard to not notice them because a lot of times they're blowing plays up because of it. I hear you, man. Brian Noble, Philip Epps, there we go. Jeff Janis, Mark Tauscher. I think Tauscher's in. Maybe not. If he's not, he should be. 100%. G. David, thanks again, buddy. If Love weathers significant pressure from rushers, blitzes, etc., without making costly mistakes, I'm sold. Seems to have everything else a QB needs. I hear you, man. Those mistakes are going to come. They're going to happen. He put 1 or 2 a little bit in jeopardy last week, but nothing significant. But yeah, that it'll happen. It's just price of doing business with a young quarterback. But to your point, like as he learns and develops and improves in that area and hopefully becomes better at it, that is kind of the one thing you hope he learns really quickly, right? He's got a bit of some gunslinger in him, no doubt about it. Ed, thanks for the super chat, man. Walter Payton doing what he did on cement with a rug on top of it at Soldier Field for so much of his career was amazing. Too bad he was a Bear. I mean, he was a joy to watch as a football fan, but yeah, it sucked that we had to watch him beat up on the Packers twice a year. God, I hated that so much. Crosby will be in the Packers Hall of Fame 1 billion%, no question. Clay Matthews? Yeah, Clay Matthews should absolutely be in there. What else? I love Love because I do not know what drugs he takes, who he dates, and what episode of a show he is on. Brandy, whatever could you be referring to? I love it. Nags, when do the Packers have to say who is coming off the practice team to activate status for Sunday? Carrie, Saturday afternoons. They always make the announcement. I believe the deadline is 4 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Central. So usually it's a good time to check late afternoon, either on the Packers website or check on Twitter. It'll be out there. But yeah, they always announce it Saturday afternoon. How about that guy who made that play in that game? That dude is good. Chuck Cecil? Oh, Chuck Cecil should absolutely be in the Packers Hall of Fame. No question. 1,000% yes. Do I think the Packers new O lineman Michael Jordan will get any reps on the line, maybe center if 71 keeps being inconsistent. No. I think he's depth. And maybe eventually they bring him up. Hell, maybe even this Sunday they have him dressed as inactive, but no, I don't think he's going to get any significant playing time, barring major injuries up front. Do you think Jones' production on the ground versus Dillon is more of a testament to Aaron's quickness and agility? Same O-line that game with vastly different outcomes. Yeah, but look at the plays themselves. Look what kind of calls they are, and yeah, how they're blocked. But the blocking is there for Aaron in a way on some of those calls that it just isn't for AJ. Now maybe that's the type of run plays, that they are trying to favor with AJ in there, guys pulling, what have you. But man, to your point, yeah, Aaron does a phenomenal job of, if someone is in the backfield, having a little bit, quick step ability to get out of the way and make something out of it. Although I said it on Sunday, and I'll say it now, AJ did yeoman's work a few times. There was one time they were backed up by their goal, like inside their 10, and I mean the blocking was just non-existent to the point where he had guys in the Packers past the line of scrimmage almost when he got the ball, and he made what should have been a 2-yard loss into a 2-yard gain. So yeah, they just need to be more consistent, no question. C. Roberts, thanks to the super chat. Thank you for your work. Go Pack Go from Asheville, North Carolina. Thank you so much. Really appreciate the support and the kind words. Vex, thanks to the super chat. How do you like Ahsoka? Oh, I'm loving Ahsoka. It is excellent Star Wars, and you can tell Dave Filoni just cares about this material so much. And I had someone in the old Twitter sphere talking about how it's like, oh, the dialogue's kind of wooden and the acting's a bit like rigid or whatever. I'm like, yeah, that's like 75% of all Star Wars. It's so clear it's like coming out of a tradition of the prequels and that style of acting. Filoni is obviously drawn from everything that he did regarding Clone Wars and Rebels and all of that. It's cool as hell. I'm loving it. Like, it's not as good as Andor, but nothing is. I mean, Andor is like prestige television. So I think it suffers a bit from being in the wake of Andor, but as a pure Star Wars project, it's freaking awesome. G. David, thanks again, man. As someone who's watched a lot of football, what's your opinion on the optimal level of risk-taking for a QB on a scale of Rodgers to Favre? Well, I mean, Rodgers is the pinnacle of taking care of the ball, right? Here's the thing. Every guy's going to be his own dude, right? He's going to have his own style and his own way of deciding how he's going to play, right? And the thing with Rodgers, and the thing that made it so impressive and important was, taking care of the ball leads to victory. Like, taking care of the ball is a formula for winning. And if you can take the ball away from them and keep holding on to it yourself and not give it away, yeah, you're going to win a boatload of ball games. So it's like, yeah, as much fun as it was to watch Brett rise and fire and kind of have that nervous feeling in your gut every time the camera panned, because you're like, I don't know, could be our guy, could be theirs. I mean, it was fun. It sounds weird, but it was fun. But man, I like winning more. And I like the fact that Aaron, as frustrating as it could be at times, taking those sacks, holding on to the ball, man, doing that led to a lot of victories because he didn't put the ball in harm's way. And you heard Matt, if you listen to the post-game locker room speech, they talked about being +2, and they were +2. That's his formula. That's winning football. So, yeah, if it's a scale of Rodgers to Favre, give me tip towards the Rodgers side, please. That's what I would prefer. It's just me. Nick, thanks for Super Chat, man. Anything similar to spotted cow in the tri-state area? Go Pack Go. Not that I've ever tasted. I am on the lookout, though, buddy. I will. If I find it, Nick, I will let you know. I will announce it here on the show, loud and proud. But no, I've never tasted anything that even approaches something as good as spotted cow here in the tri-state area. Menace, thanks again, man. Favre thought he could fit a baseball through a keyhole from a mile out. 12 was sometimes way too passive. J-Lo will hopefully be a bit of both. It's possible. We'll have to see. I do think Jordan's got a little bit of a gunslinger in him, though. We'll see. Mimsy, thanks for super chat. Has the beer distro list dropped finally? Some of it. I I actually literally had to go and write a bunch of additions to the list this afternoon. I've got more to go, but it is definitely hitting shelves all over Milwaukee today and Green Bay this weekend, and hopefully the rest of the state throughout the week. I know it's in Madison and a couple other places. We're starting to push towards the western part of the state, but yeah, it's hitting shelves. Most importantly, it's at Mars Cheese Castle. How awesome is that? I mean, come on. I saw that on the distro list this morning. And I was like, you've got to be kidding me. That's amazing. We have a beer at Mars Cheese Castle. I can retire now. It's awesome. All right, everybody. I'm going to have to get going. Trevor, thanks for the super sticker. Really appreciate it, bud. I got to get going. Can't thank you guys enough for hanging out, talking Packers each and every day, Monday through Friday, right here on the Cheesehead TV social channels. Please do me a monster favor. Hit like on the video, subscribe to the channel, and then tell your friends and tell your family. Cheesehead TV, we are devoted to Green Bay Packers fans worldwide. Thanks a lot, everybody. Have a great weekend. I'll see you on Watch Party. Go Pack Go.